Today our topic is Pidgin and Creoles, and the second section is about spelling reforms. Sociolinguistics is study of language in context of the society. That how does a language change in a society, and our present world has been transformed into a global village, and in this virtual world human beings interact with each other, and in the result of this digital interaction our language has changed. Now almost every educated person knows English language, and most of the people use colloquial and informal language which is full of contractions, and those contractions and short forms are self fabricated. Everybody has his or her own short forms. So this is also the language change, and David Crystal has mentioned in his book Internet Linguistics that how has internet changed our language. Trade with other countries, with other ethnic groups, with other language speakers also changes our language. In the beginning, Arab traders traveled throughout the world, and their trade and their commercial links also changed their language. America is the country of immigrants where people has been settled from all parts of the world. You will find all types of linguistic and ethnic communities. So in every place, in every university, in every social community, you will find people from different cultural and linguistic backgrounds. The result is plurilingualism prevails over there. Different language speakers are there. They celebrate different cultures because they are afraid of cultural shocks, and cultural riots can destroy the peace of that country. So pluriculturalism and plurilingualism dominate over there, and in the result of their interaction, there are intercultural and interracial marriages. When there are interracial and intercultural marriages, parents or husband and wife, they take words from their languages. Suppose one is African and one is Mexican, so Mexican bride takes words from African male. African male learns Mexican vocabulary. So their language is neither pure African nor pure Mexican. Canada has the largest number of immigrants, and it has started different immigration programs. And there are also so many uh, people who have diverse cultures, and their language is also different. CPEC has started in Pakistan, and collaboration of China and Pakistan has also started to bring changes. Just a few months back, there were several marriages, and Chinese males married Pakistani females. And when they will marry, they will share their language features. And Pakistani girl will learn so many Chinese words, Chinese dishes, and Chinese customs. And Chinese male will learn so many Pakistani vocabulary. This is called Pidgin. Their language for communication or lingua franca is the Pidgin, and they have their children, and their children have their mother tongue as Pidgin. But for parents, the same language is Pidgin, But the same language for children is Creole because that pidgin has become the mother tongue of their children, and for children that language is called Creole. There are causes of the start of pidgin. Marriage of two cultures, as you look at in the picture, that one Asian boy has married a foreign girl and they have a child. So for parents, their language is pidgin, and for the child, same language is Creole, because child has adopted that language as mother tongue. Trade motivates to establish pidgin. In Rawalpindi, there is a Raja Bazaar, and traders speak a mixed language, which is the combination of Pashto, Punjabi, Pothohari, and Urdu, because those traders belong to these communities. Tourism also starts pidgin. Education, especially long term education, also starts pidgin. Political crisis in Syria, Palestine, Burma, Kashmir, Afghanistan compel people to migrate. When they go to other countries, they start to learn that language. And in this way, pidgin comes into being. There are natural calamities and people have to migrate. There is migration due to intolerance of the society. Colonialism also motivates people to start pidgin. In reality, pidgin is the lingua franca, is a language which creates ease for both speakers. Swahili language in East Africa is a pidgin. Esperanto. Esperanto is the example of artificial language construction or artificial language generation. Esperanto followers want to make it an international language, and they want to uh, popularize it in different cultures, but it does not have its roots in any geographical area or in any cultural setting. That's why it could not become so much popular in the world. But there are speakers who learn and who speak Esperanto. Okay, come to the definition of pidgin. A pidgin or contact language is a restricted and extended language which arises with an urgency of communication to serve specific needs between social groups that are ethnically and linguistically different from each other. This pidgin is a contact language between two diverse groups or two diverse persons. To study it, contact linguistics emerged that when two nations, two persons interact with each other, what are the changes in their language? The reduction and simplification of input materials, that pidgin must be simpler than the original language. Simplification is the hallmark of pidgin. If you want to make it more difficult, there is no need to make a pidgin. It's better to learn the original language. Internal innovation is there. There are new terms have been made. Sometimes this newness is the combination of both words. You must have heard the word corrupt tareen. Corrupt is English word and tareen is Urdu word. Here uh, two words have been combined. And regularization of structure. Its structure is organized, uniform, with L1 influence also play their role in in pigeonation process. Mother tongue influence is so much dominating in Pidgin. What is Creole? A Creole is a Pidgin that has become the first language of a new generation of speakers. As I have told you earlier, that the same Pidgin is Creole for the children of the parents. Creolization is a process where a Pidgin expanded in structure and vocabulary in order to express the range of meanings and serve the range of functions required of a first language. Later on, in the creolization process, Pidgin is developed. Pidgin is established on the paradigms of standard language. A standard language must have phonology, semantics, syntax, pragmatics, morphology, and other features. So that Creole is established and it gets a proper status in the community. Characteristics of Creole. Nativization is when Pidgin passed on to new generations and it became a mother tongue which is acquired by children. Nativization, that it becomes the native language, mother tongue of the children. When that Creole community expands, they establish that Creole at standard patterns. Its speech becomes faster. When it gets uniformity, it becomes faster and fluent. It is the expansion of morphology and syntax. Syntax, order of words in a sentence, is developed, and internal structure of a word is called morphology. It is also developed. Phonological features are established, and then Creole starts publication system because a language has its roots with the publication. Its reader, its grammar, and its dictionary makes it standard language. When Webster No started to give a distinct variety to American English, he wrote a reader, a grammar, and dictionary. So, if a person wants to standardize Creole, there is need of reader, grammar, and lexicon dictionary. And if some newspaper is published in the Creole language, it will also become popular. There is a decreolization process. Decreolization means reversal of Creole to the standard language. Some some purist linguists call it the corruption of language, and they want to restore the previous supremacy and previous taste of the language, and they claim that we want to go back to the original language and original language should be revived, and that revival of previous standard language is called decreolization. Pidgin Creole development can be understood with this diagram. Look at, there is a language and it has pre-Pidgin phase, and then two persons marry or two trading groups, they have frequent interactions, and then it becomes Pidgin, and later on their children or their next generation takes it as their mother tongue and it becomes Creole. After Creole, there is post Creole phase when Creole gets its roots strong, and it establishes in the academia, and it gets its proper identity. Linguistic identity has been established. Okay, decreolization is here reversal of Creole. That Creole should go back to its source language or standard language. This process this process from post Creole to source language is called decreolization. And sometimes Pidgin from Pidgin to depigination is also there. That suppose Pidgin has been established, but they decide to go back to the original language. So depiginization is also possible. Spelling reforms. A lot of work was printed in Middle English period, and most of the manuscripts were handwritten. And the problem was that there were so many variations in spellings of one book. When Homer's Iliad was translated into English, and its translation has found one word with different spellings in the same book. So reader is so much confused that which spelling is correct and which spelling is wrong. So there was need of some standard spellings. As I have discussed earlier that English has borrowed many words from all over the world. So when they borrow words and they use it in English language, there are different problems. Sometimes one letter has a different pronunciation in another language, but the same letter has different pronunciation in English language. Suppose V. V has first sound in Russian language, but V has in English language. Like you are familiar with the word Kalashnikov. Mikhail Kalashnikov invented it. In Kalashnikov, you find V in the end, but V is pronounced as F in Russia, but in English it is pronounced as V. Learners of the language wanted to simplify and standardize the language. Great vowel shift in modern English, and there were changes in the phonological system. Great vowel shift in modern English. So phonology was changed. Some words were refashioned according to their Latin origin. For example, Middle English word det, D-E-T-T, was refashioned as det, D-E-B-T, because Latin word has D-E-B-I-T-U-M. So they restored its Latin origin. And sometimes the superficial spellings were removed, like grub, G-R-U-B-B, or put, P-U-T-T. And the spelling reform committees, they removed one B from grub and one T from put, because pronunciation remains same if you write one T or one B or two B or two. Pronunciation doesn't change. So ease has also motivated linguists to change spellings. Printing press has played a vital role in spelling reforms and reforms and spelling simplification, because printing press has a die system in which one word should have one spelling. So they have to standardize spelling. Samuel Johnson's dictionary is also the step towards spelling reforms and standardization of language. Harry Lindgren proposed SR1 short sound to be spelled E friend as FREND. This was an effort to simplify spellings. Webster No, he wrote a dictionary, a compendious dictionary of the English language in 1806. In 1828, an American dictionary of the English language was written. In 1837, Isaac Pitman published System of Phonetic Shorthand. Phonetic shorthand, as you are familiar with, IPA chart, International Phonetic Alphabet. IPA chart, English IPA chart has 44 sounds, and this IPA chart was made by Henry Sweet. In 1848, Alexander John Ellis published a plea for the phonetic spellings. Why do they use phonetic spellings? English 26 letters are insufficient to present different sounds. Sounds are more and letters are less. Suppose there are 26 letters and 44 phonetic alphabet. So 44 phonetic alphabet are used to cover all sound system of English language. In 1870, philological societies were formed in the USA and UK. In 1876, English Spelling Reform Association was established, and in the same year, American Spelling Reform Association was also established. So these associations worked a lot to simplify English language. Superficial spellings were removed and necessary or etymological background spellings were kept. In this journey of spelling simplification, newspapers also played their vital role. US newspaper Chicago Tribune reformed spellings and published those newly reformed spellings. In 1883, American Philological Association presented 24 spelling reform rules, and on the basis of those rules, spellings should be reformed and simplified. The reason is spellings create disturbance for the language learners. One letter gives different sounds, and the reader and the speaker, especially non-native speaker, they are confused that should I use S for sir or sh? Suppose SUGAR, sugar. Should I and S is S sound or Z sound or sh sound or ch sound? In 1898, American National Association adopted 12 words: paragon, prologue, pedagogue, demagogue, decalogue, catalog, throughout, through, thou, although, thorough, thoroughfare. You look at, there are different simplified spellings and they are different from British spellings. In 19th century, Roosevelt also started spelling simplification movement. Roosevelt was a nationalist and he propounded the idea of Americanisms. That America is a different country from England. We have got freedom from British colonizers and we should also get freedom in linguistics. Our language should be free from foreign influences. There are 11 changes by American Spelling Reform Association. ARER was changed into AR, given was changed into GIV, have was changed into HAV, live was without E, thou, through, Guard, G-U-A-R-D, guard was changed into G-A-R-D. Catalog was changed into C-A-T-A-L-O-G. Definite was changed into definite by removal of last T. Wished was changed into wished. Ed was changed into till sound. So here were some glimpses of spelling change. And Pidgin and Creole, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. Thank you so much.